Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan, and welcome to my channel, You Are Never Alone, where we take biblical truths and practical advice to set us free from our abusers. Today's topic, we're going to be looking at Matthew chapter 7, verses 1 through 5. Let me go ahead and read those, and then we'll get started. Judge not, that ye be not judged. For with the judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged, and with the measure ye met, ye shall be measured to you again. And thou beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but consider not the beam that is in thy own eye. How wilt thou say to thy brother, Let me pull out the mote out of thy eye, and behold, a beam that is in thy own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shall see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. I've read through these scriptures before, and I always looked at it in a way for myself to understand not to be judgmental towards others and to really self-correct those things on the inside that could cause me to be judgmental. But then I started looking at this recently as a way that narcissists, controllers, and abusers can use this to be abusive. And the way that they use it to be abusive, the abusive controlling person, is the one with the beam in their eye, and the kind-hearted, generally decent person has a speck in their eye. And what they'll do is the narcissist will make sure that the kind-hearted person, decent person, really us, they want to make sure that you understand that you do have that speck in your eye, and they will use that against you. They have such a frail ego, or they always want to make themselves look better, that they want to make sure that you feel really bad about that speck, but yet they have their own beam in their own eye. They have their own set of issues, and rather than, as Jesus said, hey, deal with the beam in your own eye, they rather, as you might say, throw up all their stuff on you when you have the speck in your eye, and then use it against you and hold it over you. And really, it's a control tactic, is what it is, and it's to keep us off balance. And that's really what it's all about. So I never looked at it that way before. I find it kind of interesting because in these types of relationships, these types of abusive relationships, they're like this. The abuser's here and the decent person's here. They always want to have the upper hand. And this is just one way that they can get the upper hand, is to very clearly understand that you have a speck in your eye. There again, even though they have the beam in their own eye. And it's always a one-upmanship with them. Now, the interesting part, too, is in verse 5, Jesus calls them hypocrites. And the hypocrite, according to a biblical definition, according to the Vine's Expository Dictionary, it's somebody who wears a mask. And so Jesus is comparing them to like a play actor who wears a mask and is acting out some other part. But he's understanding that a narcissist, a controller, a manipulator is just that, a hypocrite. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, you may want to call them. They're happy and go lucky 1 minute, and then they're being mean and angry the next minute. Or even in their happiness, they can be passive aggressive with a smile on their face. Or they can go to anger very quickly. They're always constantly changing. And that's really what a hypocrite is. So Jesus is calling this person with the beam in their eye a hypocrite, and the person with the speck in their eye, obviously, if we have something and somebody who wants to give us good feedback and tell us, hey, there's a speck in your eye, you might want to look out for this, in a kind-hearted way, in a good trusting way, that would be good. But and Jesus is saying that the person with the beam in their eye can't help the person with the speck in their eye. They just got to get the beam out of their own eye. But chances of a narcissist or controller or manipulator getting the beam out of their eye is very, very little. They're just not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They may shave off a little bit of the wood in the beam just to try to make themselves look good, or maybe if you're deciding that you're starting to pull away from this relationship, they might start trying to shave a little bit of that beam off, but they're not going to throw the whole beam out. They're not going to throw the whole beam out. They're going to keep the beam, because the beam for them would have to mean that they would actually have to admit that they've done something wrong. And narcissists, controllers, and manipulators can never admit they've done something wrong. And because of that reason, that's why they always hold stuff over people's heads, is because they can't be vulnerable and transparent with themselves, and they can't be vulnerable and transparent with other people. So in conclusion, if you're with somebody like this, it is a difficult situation. There's no doubt about it, because we're constantly under stress. We're constantly under a microscope. We're constantly being told that we're less than. We're constantly being ridiculed for the speck in our eye. And chances of this narcissist, abusive person changing is probably not going to happen. So understand that one part of the healing process is coming out of denial. Understand that they probably will never change. So, hey, thanks for listening. And if you like what you heard, subscribe. If you know somebody who could use this, please share it with them. And as always, in John 14:1 and 2, Jesus values us so much that he's making mansions for us in heaven. God bless and take care.